I am Apocalypse. Look upon the future and tremble. Hey, what's up, guys and girls, and welcome to another episode of Direct Edition. And today we're going to be talking about some Apocalypse books that you should have in your library. Now, first off, I'd like to say that Apocalypse is one of my favorite X-Men villains above Magneto. The only other villain overall from either universes, Marvel, DC, or IDW, Image, any of the comic book related universes. My two favorite is one, Jack Napier, the Joker, and number two is Sabanur, who is none other than the Apocalypse. So I'm going to be showing you some gems that I have of Apocalypse from my collection that I think you should have or would make it easier for you to understand the character. So let's go ahead and let's look at some of the collection that I actually have, or some of the books that I suggest that you get if you want to know a little bit more about Apocalypse, okay? So let's go. Okay, number one is going to be X Factor 5 and 6. These are from 1986. I ended up getting them way later on. I got them probably about 7 years ago. I was on the hunt for some jewels at my local comic book shop, and Dave's Comics, shout out to Dave. I've been going to it for a long time for back issues. He had issue number 6, which is Apocalypse first full cover. I bought that for about maybe $10. I know it says 8 on the cover, but I think I paid about 10. If I pay 8, even better. But number 5 and 6 are the very first appearance of Apocalypse. Matter of fact, X Factor number 5 is his cameo appearance. He's like shrouded in black, and then you actually see him on the cover of number 6. So those are the first two that I suggest that you get if you want to know more about the Apocalypse, or if you are an Apocalypse. Okay, another good read would actually be Age of Apocalypse. Now, Age of Apocalypse happened in the later 90s. It was a very, very good storyline about Professor X has a son named Legion. And without getting all into it, I'm going to tell you the synopsis of it. Okay, Legion time travels back in time and says, hey, if I kill Magneto, then my father will actually have a life and I'll be able to grow up with him and I'll be cool. Legion's real name is David Xavier. So Legion jumps back in the past. He seeks to kill Magneto, but he ends up killing his father instead. And without Charles Xavier being there to stop Apocalypse, Apocalypse actually took over. So the Age of Apocalypse actually comes in a big, big omnibus. It comes with the complete story, and it actually has a companion. Okay, now my best friend, who's going to be making an appearance on the show on the actual channel Direct Edition, I'm going to have it bring him in as a guest. He actually collected the omnibus, and he actually collected the companion. I have most of them because back then I was actually collecting the comics, so I didn't rebuy the omnibus, being the fact that I have a lot of the single issues. And I also have a lot of the companion issues too, so it was no need for me to buy the Age of Apocalypse. But for you, if you like Apocalypse, Lord Blue Lips, I would say to pick up the omnibus and definitely pick up the companion to that. You get great characters like Sugar Man, Dark Beast, Weapon X, who's Wolverine with a blasted off hand. And the Age of Apocalypse, actually, they bought it back for me and for the fans of Age of Apocalypse. They bought it back recently. So not only did we get an alternative future in our childhood, but when we became older readers in the 2000s, they bought back the Age of Apocalypse, which is pretty cool, man. I mean, that's like them bringing back the old 80s Ninja Turtles or something like that, or the old X-Men cartoon. So the Age of Apocalypse is a very, very good read. You should read it. A lot of characters crossed over out of it. So go ahead and pick it up if you can. Next, we have Apocalypse versus Dracula. I'm not going to give away the storyline, but geez, wheeze, these geez. You have to pick this up if you're a huge Apocalypse fan like me. I picked up this and The Rise of Apocalypse simultaneously, and this book is everything. I think it comes in either 4 or 5 issues. Let's see. Yes, it comes in 4 issues. I have all 4. It is worth the read. Trust me, Apocalypse and Dracula go at it. I'm not going to tell the whole story, but it's a nice little side story. I always like when comics take an established character and will put a spin to that established character and give a lot of depth and history in it. And this tells a lot of history of Apocalypse and Dracula in these 4 issues. So go ahead and pick it up, along with The Rise of Apocalypse. Okay, and next we have The Blood of Apocalypse. This right here is one of my favorite times of when Apocalypse woke up and had a mission. Okay, people don't understand that Apocalypse actually goes into hibernation, being the fact that he's so powerful he needs to hibernate every once in a while. And he actually went into hibernation and woke up around the time when Wanda Maximoff, Scarlet Witch, depleted the mutant population to just about 98 mutants. Maybe even more, but I know the banner said 98 mutants. So Apocalypse woke up during this time, created 4 new horsemen of Apocalypse, one of them being Polaris, and Death himself ended up being none other than Gambit. I love this comic, this series. This is when Apocalypse actually went into I think it was into the World Summit, and he basically told all the world leaders that he wanted them to deplete the human population to match the population of the mutants. This is called The Blood of Apocalypse. Really nice book. At the end of this book is when the Celestials actually wanted their payment back from Apocalypse. Now, the reason why the Celestials wanted a payment back from Apocalypse is because Apocalypse already is a powerful mutant, but he used a lot of the Celestials' technology to enhance his powers. Now, the Celestials are the cosmic beings that's basically made the mutant population, and the Celestials are the creators of life and death in the Marvel Universe. So if you ever have to read up on Apocalypse, you'll definitely have to read up on the Celestials, okay? So The Blood of Apocalypse, go and pick it up. Gambit is Death. Sunfire is a horseman, and also Polaris. And another one is Geyser. That's a horseman, or Gazer. So just pick it up. Excellent, excellent. Okay, now if you're going to see the X-Men movie Apocalypse, you definitely have to read this Ultimate X-Men Apocalypse story. Basically, this is where the movie gets most of its stuff from. In this book, Apocalypse has power over all the mutants. He's the first mutant. That means that he can control them. I know people think that they got that concept from X-Men Evolution cartoon, but that's not necessarily true. It actually comes from this book, where Apocalypse is this story is kind of rushed, but it nonetheless is still a good book if you are a huge Apocalypse fan. I don't want to give away too much, but just a great, great read. You know, when I found out that Amazon had this for a cheap, cheap price, I actually got into it. I actually liked the Ultimate X-Men a lot. Even though everything was so rushed up to Ultimatum, which basically did away with the Ultimate Universe, but they end up bringing it back anyway. But the Ultimate X-Men did a whole different spin on all the X-Men, which I really did love because I like the continuity, but I also like to venture outside of continuity. So yes, this story is very good. Go and pick it up. Ultimate X-Men. For a bonus, I'm going to show you the back of this book, which is pretty cool. This is Apocalypse standing on top of the Statue of Liberty. And I'm actually going to go closer so you can read the bio. Sorry about the glare. So yes, if you can, go and pick up this book. It's actually a very good book. It's never too late to read any comic because they still survive the test of time. Okay? So let's move on to the next one. Okay, so just like you had the Age of Apocalypse, you also had the Age of Strife. And for those who don't know, Strife is a clone of Cable, the guy that you see right above Deadpool, and Domino is up under him. That is Cable. And Cable actually had a clone. The clone was cloned of Cable. Sorry to keep saying clone. But he's a clone of Cable, and he was going to actually inhabit Apocalypse essence because Apocalypse is so powerful that he burns through the bodies that he inhabited. So when Apocalypse actually cloned Cable, he made Strife, and he actually cast aside Strife. And so Strife has always had daddy issues. So if you're a huge Deadpool fan, my God, pick up this book. If you're a big Cable fan, you definitely need to pick up this book. Okay, and here's a look at the back of the book. We have Wolverine, we have Hope Summers, and we have Cable, Nathan Summers. So in this book, where Apocalypse comes in, and is Strife takes over and he beats Apocalypse down because he has daddy issues. And Angel finds Apocalypse in a cave, almost on the brink of death, and he actually gives Apocalypse one of his organic wings, and Apocalypse gains his strength, and they go back and they proceed to whoop the holy crap out of Strife. Now, before all this, Strife had kidnapped Hope Summers. Now, remember, Strife is Nathan's clone, so Hope thought that Strife was actually Cable, all cleared up of the techno-organic virus. So it's just a very good read, and Deadpool comes through and saves the day in this book. Deadpool keeps this book going. You actually have X-23, you have Deadpool, you have Domino, you have Vanisher, you have Archangel. I mean, it's just, and Warpath. It's just such an incredible book. And I love the fact that how they make Archangel and Apocalypse almost like a father and son. It's a lot of family going on in this book. You know, Cable being Hope's father, Strife being the evil brother or the clone, Apocalypse being the father of them all. It's just such a just well put together written story. And I can say that this story ranks up there in my top 10 X-Men stories. Period. Hands down. Okay, so let's take a closer look at the bio. Please excuse the glare. But go ahead and read it. And like I said, X-Men Messiah War. I think this is called Cable and X-Force Messiah War. Let's look at the front again so you guys can get the name of it. So yes, this is X-Force and Cable Messiah War. It's also another book called The Messiah War. Those two are like one of the best X-Men books written in history. And next we have Uncanny X-Force, the Apocalypse Solution. Now what happens in this book is that Apocalypse is actually taken in blood of Apocalypse. And we don't see him for a while, assuming the Celestials got him. And then he pops up as a kid in this book. Now remember I told you remember I told you that Apocalypse actually is so powerful that he actually needs a human host or another host to jump in because he burns up all the energy in that body that he inhabits. So he actually is inhabited in a younger version of himself, which is a little kid. So the Uncanny X-Force actually takes care of the mutant problems before they can become a problem, meaning that they go and kill anything that threatens the mutant population, being the fact that the mutant population is so little. So you got Deadpool, Psylocke, Wolverine, Fathom X, and also Archangel. So this book starts a whole series of events in X-Force in where Apocalypse gets killed. So Archangel actually rises to be the next Apocalypse. Now, Archangel rising to be the next Apocalypse actually leads into the next book that I'm going to review. Okay, here's a quick look at the back of the book. These are considered the last horsemen. Pretty cool. Very nice artwork. Very, very, very nice artwork. Some of the best artwork I've seen in a long freaking time. Excuse the glare again, but I want you guys to be able to see. Okay. Okay, and last and not least is the Uncanny Avengers. Now, the Uncanny Avengers run, I'm a little salty about because I do like the Avengers and I do like the X-Men, but I do not like them together. I did not like X-Men versus Avengers, and I do not like the Uncanny Avengers. I'm sorry. You can hate me if you want, but I'm sorry. Okay, but let's talk about why I like this book as far as Apocalypse is in it, okay? Now, remember I was telling you Archangel actually rose to be Apocalypse, right? Warren Worthington actually rose to be the next Apocalypse. Well, in that story, he actually created or made it and had two twins, one being a girl and one being a boy. They both were taken into the time stream further into the future by Kang the Conqueror. So Kang raised them to be the next heirs or to help him actually take over time. Now, where Apocalypse gets involved in this is that in the beginning of this book, you have one of the greatest battles I've ever seen, blow for blow. You have Apocalypse fighting a young Thor. My God, Apocalypse head-butted the heck out of Thor and told him he wasn't worthy. When he did that, I closed the book, ran around the corner, came back, and started reading again. That's how excited I was about this book. Now, I'm not going to be too hard on the Uncanny Avengers, but there is some great times in the Uncanny Avengers, but I'm just not a big fan. Okay? So let's look at the back. Okay, and here's the back. You got Wanda Maximoff, supposedly Magneto's daughter, but it's not Magneto's daughter anymore. We don't know what's going on in the comics anymore. But you have Wanda Maximoff. Here's the bio. And that's it. Okay, so thank you for tuning in to another episode of Direct Edition. My name is Fred Hall. Love, peace, and hair grease, and you guys be safe out there. And I will catch you guys later. Peace out. My name is Apocalypse, and I heard what you guys were saying about the movie version of me. I don't appreciate it that you guys were saying I look like a Power Ranger knockoff villain.